So when you think of Saudi Arabia, what comes to mind? Probably oil, right? And just incredible wealth. But behind that glittering exterior, there's a huge, critical vulnerability, a near total lack of water. So how is a kingdom in the desert supposed to solve a problem like that? Well, with one of the most ambitious engineering projects humanity has ever seen. Let's dive in.
Yeah, you heard that right. It sounds like something from a sci-fi movie. A man-made river in a country that has literally zero natural rivers. And get this, it's not just any river. This one flows uphill. It defies gravity. And that's the wild paradox we're going to unpack today.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If there are no natural sources to draw from, where on earth is Saudi Arabia getting trillions of liters of water to fill a brand new river? The answer, it turns out, is a fascinating story of desperation, unbelievable innovation, and some really serious unintended consequences.
Okay, so to really understand this incredible man-made river, we first have to go back and look at the crisis that made it necessary in the first place. See, for decades, Saudi Arabia was running on a secret water supply, a hidden tank buried deep under the sand, and it was emptying out fast.
This hidden supply is called fossil water. It's basically this ancient aquifer that got trapped underground thousands, even millions of years ago. And here's the critical thing you need to know about it. Once it's used, it's gone, for good. The best way to think about it is like a giant non-rechargeable battery. And for a very long time, this was pretty much the only fresh water the kingdom had.
The problem was they were draining that non-rechargeable battery at a totally insane rate. As the population boomed, the average person in Saudi Arabia was using more than double the global average for daily water. It just wasn't sustainable, not even close.
So, what was drinking up all that water? The answer might actually surprise you. Back in the 1970s, Saudi Arabia had this massive plan to become self-sufficient in food. Which sounds great, right? But it meant that a staggering 85% of that precious, irreplaceable fossil water was going to one thing: growing wheat in the middle of the desert.
This is where the alarm bells really started blaring. NASA satellite data came out and showed the truly catastrophic speed of this depletion. We're talking 2 trillion liters a year. The non-rechargeable battery was on the verge of dying. The government had no choice but to slam the brakes on the wheat program and lock away what little fossil water was left for emergencies only.
So, okay, their only real natural water source, now it's off limits. They had to pivot to a plan that was even more audacious. If you don't have a source of water, you build one. Not from the ground up, but from the sea up.
The scale of this vision is it's hard to wrap your head around. The plan was to build a massive underground network of pipes, right? And this network would stretch for, wait for it, 12,000 kilometers.
Now, to put that number in perspective for you, this artificial river network is designed to be more than twice the length of the Nile, the longest river on the planet. This is a truly monumental project.
And the goals here are way bigger than just giving people drinking water. We're talking about reviving that dream of growing their own food, slashing food imports, and most importantly, diversifying their entire economy away from its dependence on oil. And they keep it all underground in these huge pipes to stop it from just evaporating in the desert heat. It's brilliant.
But, of course, a 12,000-kilometer pipeline is pretty useless if you don't have water to put in it. So how do you get fresh water from the one source that Saudi Arabia has in absolute abundance? The salty sea. The answer is a pretty amazing technology called desalination.
So all along the coast, they've built 28 of these massive plants, and they mostly use 2 different methods. The first is multi-stage flash. You can basically think of it as a giant super efficient kettle. It boils seawater in stages and collects the steam, which is pure H2O. It's great for huge scale projects. The other is reverse osmosis, which is more like a microscopic sieve. It uses incredible pressure to force seawater through a membrane so fine that salt, minerals, even viruses can't get through. And this one is way more energy efficient.
And the impact of this has been, honestly, nothing short of revolutionary. This isn't some pie-in-the-sky future plan. This is the reality right now. 2/3, 66% of all the fresh water used in the kingdom today starts out as salt water in the ocean.
So it sounds like the perfect solution, right? A true technological miracle. But, and you knew there was a but, creating an oasis in the desert comes with a very heavy and often hidden price tag. It turns out, solving one resource crisis has accidentally created a whole new one.
And here is the question that reveals the project's dark side. For every liter of fresh water you make, You're left with this super concentrated, salty sludge. So what in the world are you supposed to do with all of that leftover salt?
Every single day, the desalination plants in Saudi Arabia produce 329,000 tons of this salty byproduct. It's called brine, and that is a truly staggering amount of industrial waste. To really help that number sink in, just picture a blue whale, the heaviest animal on Earth. Now picture 1,600 of them. That is the sheer weight of salt and chemicals being pumped back into the ocean every single day.
And the environmental impact is devastating. This brine makes the coastal waterway saltier, way warmer, and it sucks the oxygen out. It's creating these dead zones, bleaching and killing vibrant coral reefs and threatening the entire marine ecosystem of the Red Sea. A truly terrible, unintended consequence.
So where does that leave us? Well, Saudi Arabia is now facing a brand new challenge. How do you balance this incredible feat of human ingenuity with genuine environmental responsibility? The question now is, how do you solve the problem that your solution created?
Well, they're tackling it in two ways. First, in the short term, they're trying to mitigate the damage. They're using these things called deep-sea diffusers to spread the brine out over a much wider area, diluting its impact. But the long-term goal is way cooler: innovation. Scientists are working on brine mining, a process that can actually extract valuable minerals like magnesium and potassium right out of the waste. It could literally turn a dangerous pollutant into a profitable new resource.
And if you need one last stat to really appreciate the insane scale and commitment behind all this, remember that river flowing uphill? Well, the massive pumping stations that make that happen use 9% of the entire country's electricity. All that power just to move water. It's mind-blowing.
Which really leaves us with this final big picture question. This artificial river is an absolute marvel of human ingenuity, no doubt about it. But is it a real solution to scarcity? Or does it just prove that sometimes our clever solutions just end up transforming one crisis into another, unexpected one for the next generation to solve? It's a question that countries all over the globe are going to have to face as fresh water becomes the new oil.